Dan Isakson's body is for sale, and Hollywood is buying. He's the bodybuilder to the stars, and tonight on PM Magazine, see if he can do for Knight Rider's David Hasselhoff what he did for John Travolta.
Then, while Japanese fashions are taking the world by storm, we'll meet two American models who are leaving their mark on Japan.
And Peggy the Cab Driver takes us to some of the best breakfast spots in town.
Hi, welcome to PM Magazine. I'm Pat Brown.
And I'm Steve Doyle. Tonight we've dropped by the Nautilus Swim and Fitness Club here in Richfield.
Well, if you saw Saturday Night Fever or Staying Alive, you know that John Travolta has one of the best-looking bodies in Hollywood. But he didn't get it by himself. He had lots of help from trainer Dan Isakson.
Well, they tell us John was just the first because Dan has become the personal fitness instructor to many of Hollywood's most famous, including Knight Rider's David Hasselhoff. Right now, we're going to catch him in training.
Dan Isakson may be the most wanted man in Hollywood. No, he's not a big-time producer or a studio head. And he'll be the first to tell you he can't act. But still, all of Hollywood is after Dan for one reason. They want his body for their bodies.
It goes a great deal beyond bodybuilding. You end up being their physical mentor, so to speak, and how they look is basically reflected on what I do with them.
Dan's business is personalized training, muscle toning, diet plans, specialized athletic equipment, anything his clients want. And his clients are some of the most beautiful people in Hollywood. An athletic director from Colorado, Dan started his training career when he got a chance to reshape John Travolta for the movie Staying Alive.
Getting John Travolta in shape was unique. I mean, it was a unique experience from the standpoint of taking a person who had always been very active as a dancer and a person. Throughout all his films, he's been very active, but had never really developed his upper body. And it was like a new experience for him. I'll never forget one of his comments was, gee, I looked in the mirror about midway through the training and I thought that I have a new me.
John Travolta's physical transformation was so incredible, he took Dan on as a partner, and they started the business of personalized training for other celebrities. They've even written a fitness book together, explaining how John got into shape, which can be used as a guide by just about anyone who wants to trim down and firm up.
There we go. Okay, good lift now. That's it. Good. Come on. Come on. It's great. It's the best you've ever done.
Although John is a full partner, Dan and his wife Kim do the actual training. They often divide their 16-hour days between house calls, traveling to shooting locations, or meeting clients here in their studio, where they've toned up some of Hollywood's most attractive bodies. Linda Evans, Olivia Newton-John, Lisa Hartman, and John Schneider all have taken Dan on as their trainer, and he couldn't have asked for a more willing group of students.
I think the most exciting thing about working with the celebrities is probably their enthusiasm. I've never been around a group of people that can really rally to the situation. When, you know, it's just amazing to watch them. And they do it with the training. They know that they're here for the training. They have to gear up for it, and it's like blanking out the day and moving into this next mode that they have to go into.
Daddy!
Where have you been? Where have you been?
Wake up, Doc, man. I'm sorry I'm late.
All right. Let's go.
One of Dan's most ambitious clients is Knight Rider star David Hasselhoff. His recent marriage, along with too much good living, has put a few extra pounds on David, and it's time the Knight Rider gets back into shape.
It really wasn't as hard as I thought because we made more of a game out of it. And he exists like I do, with real positive, straight ahead, with a good sense of humor. And it's been a lot of fun.
That's it right there. 7, a little slower coming up. 8, keep your elbows in tight. 2 more, come on, David. That's it, 1 more. All right, way to go. Relax.
Best times we've had are when we worked out together, when we pushed each other. And just come in for like a good hour ultimate pump, and it's really fun. I'm really looking forward to someday getting in a shape that he is so that I can walk around in shorts. You see, I didn't wear shorts for 6 years. They called me the stork man in school. look like one of those little birdies that chases crabs on the beach. Ah! It's very embarrassing. So I'm looking for, I haven't worked on the legs yet. I mean, the legs are monumental.
Dan says one thing his clients realize when they come to him for help is they have to change their lifestyles in order to make the physical change they want.
They start to shed certain things. You just can't keep up if you're eating too much or drinking or whatever you're doing. So, oddly enough, it all becomes a very improved lifestyle physically, which is exciting, because it's exciting for these people. They're fabulous people.
All right. Go, way to go. That's it.
Go, brother.
All right.
See you on TV.
Bodies by Isakson are becoming so popular, there's a waiting list just to get into Dan's program. And when you look at his results, there's no question why he's become Hollywood's most wanted man.
I couldn't be happier. I thank God I'm doing this. You know, it's fabulous. I work with the best people in the world, and I'm involved with creating something in their lifestyle that really makes them a better person.
These days, Dan is so busy that he's had to hire 2 instructors to help him, and there's a 3-month waiting list. But you can get his help by looking at a book that he put together with John Travolta called Staying Fit.
Next, want to get your big break in modeling? Go east, young woman, far east.
Earlier this week, we showed you 800 young women lined up waiting to be discovered by modeling director John Casablancas. Well, some models aren't willing to wait till they're discovered. They're taking their careers in their own hands and going where they're sure to be noticed right away: Japan.
Throughout the world, Japanese designs have begun catching the eyes of fashion watchers in a big, big way. But it's been U.S. models who've been catching the eyes of fashion experts in Japan. As a result, Tokyo has become a great place for attractive Americans to go first if they want to go far in high fashion. Tokyo agencies help direct the flow of American beauties to Japanese studios. One of the busiest is run by Gloria Askew.
The American model is particularly popular because they do have enormous energy and personality. They found that the Japanese men see the Western woman as a sex symbol, and the Japanese women see the Western woman as somebody they would like to be like to copy.
Not only are the Japanese attracted to American models, but the models are attracted to Japan. Their blonde hair and blue eyes make them unique here, giving them an edge on the competition and making it easier for them to break into a very competitive profession. 2 top models at the Askew agency came from the U.S. to do just that. Leanne is from Utah, and Kenny, her boyfriend, is from Boston. But what's it like to spend your first day on your first job halfway around the world?
I was scared, yeah. It's a different experience, and everything's so different when you get here and you're suffering from the jet lag, you know. It really seems strange when you first come here.
It's probably the smartest move I made so far in my career, was coming to Japan, because it got me on my feet. I was still pretty new, and I needed pitches, and I needed money, and I got both.
But, as Gloria Askew knows, the rewards of starting in Japan don't come easily to many young models.
Well, they never quite know what to expect, and initially it's quite a cultural shock. And often the first 2 or 3 weeks they're crying for mum and dad back home because suddenly, you know, everybody's speaking a language they don't understand, and they're being shoved up and down on underground steps, and they've got to get to clients, and people are jabbering away. But once they settle in, they love it.
And making it here makes it that much easier to make it anywhere.
Here is the quickest place to grow and get your book together and your pitches, and then you can go somewhere else and be strong and not feel weak about working somewhere else.
The Japanese are very hard-working people, and in return they work you very hard too here.
Of course, having lots of work is just what most models dream of. And for people who are as successful as Kenny and Leanne, that dream has turned into a reality, complete with paychecks that can reach as high as $5,000 or even $10,000 a month. But that kind of success in Tokyo isn't based on good looks alone. Models here have to have that something extra.
They go by what they feel for me a lot, I think, because they don't understand the language so much, but they can understand the projection, the feeling from you.
Kenny and Leanne enjoy Japan a lot, but they'll probably move on to Paris or Australia within a few months. Seeing the world is their goal as they model in every major fashion center on the globe. But Japan has been special for them. It's where they found their careers and each other.
It's better to have someone with you because it gets really lonely at times. I spent so much time by myself, I would never want to do it again like that.
We stick together pretty much. It's a lot easier, and I mean, it's lonely when you're traveling so much and you meet a lot of new people, but it's like you only have a few months to get close to anyone and then you leave them, and it's not that good. If you have someone you can share things with and talk to, it's a lot better.
The place itself is like, it's mellow, there's no violence, there's no crime. People are really nice. You don't need to worry about your girlfriend walking the streets at night. I like that side of it too, because it's not necessarily the same thing in the States, especially in New York, you know. I don't need to worry so much.
So, for the beginning model who has the looks, the personality, and the courage to make that first step a big step, Japan offers a great place to get started and to discover one of the nicest feelings in life.
They call it Genki. Genki when you're happy.
Kenny and Leanne have already moved on to Australia. They were there for just a couple months, but that seems to be about average for models who visit there from overseas.
Up next, it's time for the Morning Munchies as Peggy the Cab Driver discovers some great breakfast hotspots.
There's only one Super Bowl of cereal, and there's only one taste that makes it the super taste of Kellogg's Corn Flakes.
Just think of crispy golden flakes.
Delicious, crunchy flakes of corn.
So pure and simple, just can't wait.
Low in sugar, loaded with vitamins and iron.
So good for you, don't hesitate.
For a Super Bowl of our most nutritious corn flakes ever.
What a Super Bowl. Have yourself a Super Bowl. Kellogg's Corn Flakes. Super taste, super good. Kellogg's Corn Flakes.
Good evening, I'm the Phantom Cab Driver. Tonight I'm returning to some of my favorite breakfast places around the Twin Cities, so join me as I take you on Peggy the... Oh, why'd I say that? The Phantom Cab Driver's Progressive Breakfast. Our first stop is at the Fresh Squeeze in Uptown for fresh juices.
The Fresh Squeeze does just what the name implies. Every day, dozens of oranges contribute their sunny selves to the making of one of life's true pleasures, a frothy glass of eye-opening OJ. And for the less traditional, a tall glass of vegetable juice is a pleasant change of pace. With an emphasis on healthy, natural foods, the juice at the Fresh Squeeze is just the right way to begin our breakfast. An American breakfast cafe must serve eggs, and the Egg and I on 27th and Lyndale serves a mean omelet. I chose a Stubby's omelet, named after the adventurous cook who first put this masterpiece together. Spinach, celery, tomatoes, green pepper, onions, jalapeno peppers, and cheese, all rolled into a tender casing of fresh eggs topped with a generous dollop of sour cream. Very impressive.
Behold the lowly potato, an honest yet unassuming tuber. Ah, but when sliced thinly, fried to a golden brown, and served with a delicate sprinkling of onions on top, it becomes very nearly divine.
Eggy's on 25th in Chicago is understandably proud of their hash browns. According to their calculations, they serve on the average a ton of potatoes per month. That adds up to a lot of hash browns and a lot of satisfied customers. And as a side benefit, the walls of Eggy's are an egg lover's paradise. Le Peep on 10th Street in downtown Minneapolis is best known for its creative egg dishes, but don't underestimate their pancakes. These are no mere lumps of fried dough. The cakes themselves are light and fluffy, but it's the toppings that set these cakes apart from the rest. Mountains of whipped cream cover the golden cakes, then ladles of fruit top off what can only be called a supreme but worthwhile overindulgence.
We end our journey and our breakfast with a homemade caramel roll at Key's Restaurant, University Avenue and Raymond in St. Paul.
Key's is known for its home-style cooking. The service is prompt and friendly, and customers seem to come back time and again, not only for the warm bread, but the warm smile that goes with it.
Now, of course, all of the places I visited today have full menus and many delicious specialties. So if you'd like a list of my favorite places to have breakfast, drop me a line at PM Magazine and I'll send one out to you. I'm so full.
Turning to our entertainment page, let's join Bill Carlson at the Orpheum Theater with a look at Sugar Baby, starring Mickey Rooney and Ann Miller.
Hi, everybody. This is your old buddy, Mickey Rooney, with Legs and Miller in the wackiest musical to come around since your grandfather paid a nickel for an ice cream cone. It's called Sugar Babies. It's belly laughs, belly dancers, pie in the face, drop your pants, gorgeous scams, snap the garter, and wave the flag. If you don't like a good time, don't come to see Sugar Babies, but we'll be looking for you.
It was an invitation Twin City theater goers just couldn't resist, and the 8-performance Twin City run of Sugar Babies was completely sold out long before it opened. These opening night fans couldn't have known it, but Mickey Rooney's plane hadn't yet touched down in the Twin Cities as they waited with great expectation in the Orpheum Theater lobby.
What do you remember Mickey Rooney from?
Oh, way back.
Saturday afternoons at the Princess Theater.
Yeah.
I just think it's great at his age that he's still really good entertainer. And he was, I remember him from when he was real young. He's just got a lot of life to him.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime chance, I think, to see it, so why not?
I always enjoyed Mickey Rooney, and I think he's a great actor. And I've always wanted to see him in person. This is my big chance.
Don't tell me you don't know that there are chorus girls in this show, too.
Oh, yes, but I really came to see Mickey and Ann Miller.
And right on time, fresh from the airplane to the limo to the stage, was the man they had all come to see.
I would be happy if I could only see a good old burlesque with all the performers the way they used to be in a good old burlesque show.
That word burlesque, troublesome for some people, Rooney thinks undeservedly so.
Everybody thinks that burlesque is a lascivious show. Burlesque is not a lascivious show. It has nothing to do with strippers. There's not a stripper, there's not a line in this show that I'm ashamed to say. There are double entendres, but if your mind is that filthy and you're disturbed by it, why don't come. Every once in a while, I'll get a letter from somebody who'll say that I've heard that you were a Christian, and I saw the show, and it was so dirty. And I can tell you this, Bill, there's nothing dirty on that stage. I would not allow anything that my children wouldn't be able to see. And the only reason I bring it up is because it bothers me, the fact that these people have lost their senses of humor. And it hurts. Well, and that doesn't hurt me because I just tear up the letters.
Those letters aren't typical of Mickey's relationship with his fans, however. After overwhelming success early in his career and now nearly 6 years with Sugar Babies, love just flows across the footlights.
It's a two-way street. I mean, I always look upon the audience as my family. Everything in life is timing, and God has more than blessed us with a great success of this show. Right now it's Act 2, and thanks so much. God bless, and thank you for coming backstage. So long.
Now we're going to introduce you to our good old Hold it, fellas. Let me take this one by myself. Shout!
By the way, Sugar Babies runs through September 16th, and coming up in November at the Orpheu, they'll be presenting a torch song trilogy. Now don't go away. PIA Magazine is going to be back with more after this.
PIA Magazine.
Well, this is it, our last show at 6:30, because starting this Monday, September 17th, we'll be on at 4:30 in the afternoon.
We got to start saying good afternoon instead of good evening. I don't know whether I can do that. We've got a great lineup of stories to open this fall season. Here's a glimpse.
Monday, join us for our moving party as we kick off the new fall season at 4:30 with people who have been on PIA Magazine over the past 5 years.
Throughout the week, we'll hear from Purple Rain's leading lady, Apollonia, who tells us what it was like getting next to Prince.
We'll also meet the youngest black belt instructor in the country and learn about Paul Newman's newest role as the king of popcorn.
Also, don't forget to tune in for our moving party next Monday.
We'll have guests on that show that have been on PIA Magazine over the past 5 years, so it should be a fun time.
So don't forget, starting next Monday, September 17th, PIA Magazine joining you at 4:30.
Have a good weekend.
Good night.
Good night.
Quite shy, very sober, somber, never smiled. My folks gave me a ventriloquist dummy when I was 13. And I sent away for a little book on how to be a ventriloquist. I think it cost me 25 cents. And along with it comes one of these things you're supposed to...
put in your mouth to make it sound like...
Well, I couldn't make it work, so I eventually threw it away and just read the book and practiced in front of a mirror.
To see how well I could talk without any lip action, you know.
And taught myself ventriloquism, then got the dummy and...
Started doing an act.
I mean, you were outstanding in school, weren't you?
Yeah, I was outstanding in the yard and outstanding in the hall.
No, I didn't mean that.
Don attributes his success to just plain old perseverance. He remembers one really low point in his life when he lived in New York in the late 40s. Hungry and broke, he sold a pint of blood for $5.
And after it had been withdrawn, I went back to the elevator to go downstairs. I got in. As soon as the elevator started to move down, I heard this ringing in my head. It felt like ice tongs closing in, and I passed out cold. I blacked. Next thing I knew, they were dragging me back in and putting me on the cot. Next question is, did they put the pint of blood back in? No, no.
His luck changed when a phone call from a producer sent him to California. He began doing children's television, commercials, and finally animated cartoons. Don's first cartoon series for television was Rough and Ready, followed by 87 others. And as for which cartoon character is his favorite...
Scooby-Dooby-Doo! I love being on television.
You see, he was kind of a forerunner. I mean, Astro was kind of a forerunner of Scooby-Doo, but Scooby has a deeper, more resonant voice.
Resonant?
Resonant.
Oh, I do? Okay.
Don makes it look so easy, but then he's voiced over 3,000 television cartoon episodes. Nevertheless, each show still requires hours of rehearsing for the entire cast.
Whoa! And hi, Adam.
Someone's out to wreck our reputation. Oh no, it looks like it worked.
Mighty Warbots will be defeated
The guy needs some lozenges.
Once the voices are recorded, the pictures are drawn to match the voice. Today, he's rehearsing for a new series called Mighty Orbots, in which he plays Rondu the human and Crunch the robot.
One last big chump.
But currently, Don is enjoying tremendous popularity as Papa Smurf, the head of the little blue creatures.
What's it like to be so old, Papa Smurf? There's nothing strange about being old. I'm just as healthy and happy as you are. See?
The first voice that I did for Papa Smurf was like that.
And that's what I won the audition on the basis of that voice.
Yeah, but that doesn't sound like me at all, does it?
Well, I thought it did. So after we had done a couple of shows, they decided that...
Yes, go on.
Don't interrupt.
Sorry.
They decided that he should have more authority, since he was kind of the leader of the group, the one that all the other Smurfs looked up to, that Papa Smurf should...
sound like this. And so now, I am Papa Smurf. Thank you.
The fact that I can do these things and entertain the children in so doing, it's kind of a fountain of youth. Just about everybody that I know who does voices, the people that I work with, have that same kind of zest and enthusiasm, and we just have a ball, and it's just a lot of fun.
It took a big party to kick off DJ Bruce Kelly's attempt to sit in every one of the 60,000 seats in Three Rivers Stadium. It's a crazy idea, but he's doing it for a good reason, to raise money for the Muscular Dystrophy Association. Plenty of hard-driving music by B.E. Taylor and 3,000 cheering fans pumped Bruce up, but he was already psyched up.
You see that right there? I got a job to go do.
The radio station's mascot eggs Bruce on. There's no turning back now. Bruce is bound and determined to stay in the stadium, stopping only for naps at night and to eat high-energy food. He only takes one thing with him, a soft pillow for you-know-what.
Should have been a trash man. Oh, there's one already down. Great. Oh. Boy, I wish you were all as soft as this dugout. Got more to do.
After 4 hours rest, Bruce is up at the crack of dawn. He knocks off the top rows first to avoid the blazing afternoon sun. Bruce no longer unfolds the seats and sits down all the way. Earlier in the morning, he broke a blood vessel in his knee, and bending his legs too far now is much too painful. But by noon, he reaches one of many small goals.
Just crossed the 10,000 mark. 50,000 more to go.
On the second day, it rains, and rains, and rains. Noah's Ark was probably drier.
Anybody got a scuba mask? I've heard of soggy buns before, but this is ridiculous. Singing in the rain. Or is that sitting in the rain? Sitting in the rain.
It's the morning of the third day. Bruce is just about home. Home plate, that is, where seat number 60,000 is located. It's getting tough now. He's worn out 4 pairs of shorts, 2 pairs of gloves, and his pillow. So he goes to a much sturdier carpet pad for comfort. But his body is even more worn out. Tired, sore, cold, and dizzy.
I am certifiably crazy. You are. You ought to call it. You ought to call it 59,000 and that's it. No. Come on, man. No. If I just take this break, I can knock out the rest. I'm just freezing. Come on.
Bruce has done this on his own, but he hasn't been alone. His buddies from the radio station have been with him the whole time. He gets a lot of support now as he finishes the last rows.
This is it! This is it! 4, 3, 2, 1! Yeah. Seats! Look around you. Can you believe you sat in every one of these seats in this ballpark?
I want to take this pad off and throw it away.
Yeah! Three Rivers has heard many cheers of victory before. This one isn't the loudest, but it certainly is one of the most deserved.
Yes! Yes!
A raisin talks about life.
A raisin's life is no bowl of cherries. Look at these wrinkles. And that cereal. Just a bunch of flakes.
Now this is the life. New raisin life. Big toasty biscuits, a whole new taste. This is a life a raisin can be proud of.
New Raisin Life cereal. For raisins, it's the only life.
Ain't life great?
I'm a firm believer that if you start feeling too comfortable in there, you're going to get hurt. Go, big boy. And so it bothers me if at times I get lackadaisical and I don't get nervous. I just think it's another job. I really have to remind myself that I've been hurt.
Doug Terranova is a very young man in an ancient profession. He does not like to be referred to as a tiger tamer. He prefers tiger trainer.
Well, tamer gives you the impression that you can walk in and they're going to lay down, roll over, and lick your hand, and that's not the case. You do train them. They're trained to do a trick and they're trained to do a certain routine, but not every tiger does every trick, and that's why they have to be taught different things. Here. Up. No, here. You're training them, but you're never taking them. There's an old saying that we use in the circus. You can take the cat out of the jungle, but you can't take the jungle out of the cat. No. Up. Tiana, up. Good girl. All right, seat.
As a youngster, Doug worked at the zoo in his small Iowa hometown. Pulling weeds and cleaning cages gave him an opportunity to hang around the chimp and elephant trainers. He dreamed of joining up with a circus that came to town every year. At 17, he was hired by Don Johnson's Seagoville-based circus.
Right there.
Again, he cleaned cages. He worked with the elephant show until he was 19. Then he went into the ring with the big cats.
The very first time I ever went in, I went in with another trainer. And I was pretty nervous. In fact, I forgot to shut the door. Because tigers are very nervous animals. They're very skeptical about things, and it takes a long time to train a tiger because of that. A lion will just blunder into something, and it's very easy to train. But a tiger, once it's calm and comfortable with everything, is a little smarter. Good boy. Seat. Go. Seat. Allez. Go on. The training is very difficult because that's when most of the accidents happen. The cats in a show are made to do only what they're familiar with doing. But when you're introducing them into a new atmosphere and something that's new and different, then you have a little more problem because then again you're going with their nervousness. It's out of the routine and they're not used to it, so they're more apt to hurt you.
Working with the Emmett Kelly Circus at the Grand Prairie International Wildlife Park is giving Doug and his wife Ilona a break from their usual summer routine of traveling from town to town with Don Johnson's circus. Ilona is a trapeze artist from an 8-generation circus family. Her practice rig is set up at the park. She's pretty well convinced Doug that she doesn't worry too much about his dangerous occupation.
It bothers her sometimes, I guess. When I have trouble in the cage, I think she's nervous. She tells me she is. But not so much, she worries more about the animals right now because she knows I'm capable of taking care of myself.
But Ilona is actually more concerned than she lets on.
It really terrifies me. I never would even watch a tiger act before I started going out with him because I knew too many people who have gotten hurt from them.
Up! The basic thing you want to do when you train an animal is have that animal have confidence in you. They have to know that you're not going to hurt them. They have to know that you're going to stop the others from hurting them, and that you're basically a reliable, you're the boss, but you're reliable. You're always there for them. If there's a problem, you're there for them. Up! Singapore seat. You know when it impresses me the most is in a fight because of what they do to each other. And to think that if they can do that to another 500-pound animal, if one can knock another one across the arena, well, I'm 150 pounds, and then it'll knock me flying. Good girl. Oh, I'll have times after I get out of there where I just start shaking and have to sit down and say, boy, oh boy, that was close.
At 23, Doug is still a young man. He loves his big cats, and working them in the arena is still a challenge.
Good boy. Pay attention. Come here. Omar, come in. Come here. Come here. Get up here. Let's go. Here. Down. Hold it. Here. Good. Hold it. Hold it. All right, seats. How they go? You talk to them with your voice. And that is a major thing, too. They want to please you. Some of them do. Some of them don't. They could care less. They just soon eat you.